Howdy everybody, what's up? My name's Spina, I'm the left-handed alchemist, and welcome to my channel. Sometimes I make jewelry and I talk about that, and sometimes I just sit down in front of the camera and I talk about things that I'm thinking about. It's been a weird few weeks. The last video that I uploaded was the pendant challenge video, and that really ignited something in me, like the fun of creating again. And I think breaking it down day by day, allergies are so bad, I'm suffering. Like, I look like I either just woke up from a nap or just smoked a joint. I promise you, I neither of those things. I live at the crossroads of about 5 fucking hay fields, and it's time for the third cutting of the season. On top of that, my husband decided to make hot sauce this morning, and the entire house is a spicy habanero pepper. I have not known peace all day long. I've sneezed 500 times. I've cried about 3 times. My entire sinus cavity is on fire and I'm suffering and I don't know what to do or where to go to make it go away because it's like the entire town is cutting hay right now. So I'm just trying to push through it, man. There's no amount of ibuprofen that's gonna make this pressure headache go away. And I kind of want to curl in and implode, you know? I want to curl up and implode. That's kind of fueling where my mind is at today. And I thought maybe I would sit down and like talk, just chat, you know? Because I've been kind of slipping back into like a depression the last few days. And it's different this time because I'm like watching it happen and the symptoms are different. And it's like, I'm not ruminating on anything. There's no like thought process, but I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. This is Cheese, everyone. He's my friend. The last video I uploaded was the pendant challenge video, and that was fun. That was like a fun 3 weeks of just slowly and intentionally making art, and I've sold a few of them, and I don't know, at the very least it's just like practice, you know, making things, which in my pursuit towards mastery, every time I show up to my bench, I'm just thinking of it as practice, and I'm getting one micro step closer to mastery, and that's cool. I'm not hoping for my lucky break anymore. I know that time in is time spent towards mastery, and what I want is mastery. I don't want quick fame that fizzles out quicker than, you know, it's just like an unsustainable fast fame. I'm not really interested in fame anyway. What I'm interested in is finding a intentional and aligned group of people who fuck with what I do. And maybe there's only 100 of you out there. And so I have to shine my beacon very specifically for the 100 people who are meant to see my work and resonate with it and live with it. I recognize it's going to take time. And so I think that through the process of doing the pendant challenge, it helped move my creative energy in a very slow, intentional way where I was able to also facilitate the other aspects of myself, like reading books and knitting on projects and exercising and making sure that I'm taking care of my mind, body, and spirit beyond just what my business is. Because when I start to overthink about my business and how am I going to get people to buy my work and how am I going to do this and get caught up in all of like, how is this going to work out? I go into this freeze mode, and then I start to make decisions that are counterintuitive to my actual goals because my nervous system's on fire and I'm looking for external validation. And I noticed that has been kind of slipping back because I've not been keeping up with the same kind of energy that the pendant challenge offered me. And it's the first time I ever did that did a challenge like that to make things slowly and intentionally. And so I've been designing the next line of symbols pendants, which are spooky themed pendants. And my intention was, okay, I'm going to bang these out in a couple days. I'm going to photograph everything and have them up on my website by the first of the month. And that just didn't work out. Like, my luteal phase hit and I could not fathom working like that. And so I know that when I go into that like kind of rushed anxiety mode of creation, whatever I make I'm not going to care about it. It's not going to be that like interesting. And also like it's a self-imposed deadline that gives me nothing but stress, and nobody's asking for this work. I don't have lines of people demanding anything. There's no guarantee that any of this is going to sell. And so to make it like worth the stress, the outcome, you know, usually the outcome is just some cool photos and some pendants that I fuck with. And like when it's, you know, someone's going to order it when they decide that it's for them. And beyond that, it's not really something I can control. And that's where I'm at right now with my career and how people are consuming it. I don't have lines of people waiting for my work. I don't have sold out collections to make the hustle a little more validating at the end of it. The validation very much right now is coming from my own internal strength. And when I'm stressing about the creation of something to the point where it's like really stressing me out and starting to make me sick, mentally or even physically sometimes, I know that it's just, like I need a downshift. I'm like practicing this, coming to the place where I'm spinning out of control on these self-imposed deadlines and then learning how to back up and take a step back and slow down. I think that's kind of the lesson I'm learning right now, or one of the many lessons really that I'm learning right now, is recognizing when I'm creating from a place of external validation and obligation of these invisible forces that don't exist. Like there's nobody asking for this stuff. I'm creating it because I want to. And if I wanted to be stressed all the time, great, but I don't. Like I've played that game before. I've played the being stressed about my work game before. And I really am part of the collective of people who are like deconstructing hustle. And so as a result, I've had to take a step back. But what I've like realized too is in the week or two after releasing the pendant collection, it felt like, okay, I'm resting for a minute. I'm like figuring out what I want to make next. Okay, I know I want to make a spooky collection for Halloween and fall, Samhain, and you know, all of the like ancestral spooky themed things that are happening in the next 2 months, because it's that time of year. It's the veil is thinning and our ancestors are here, and it's a fun time for me spiritually, but then creatively I'm just feeling a little tired. And so we went on a trip to Montana to visit my brother-in-law and his girlfriend, and it was my first time ever going to Montana, and that was really fun. Like it was a fun break upon releasing this collection. And while I was there, we were just hanging out. I was reading a lot of fan fiction, and I wasn't thinking about work and being stressed out about all of the things that I should be doing and asking my tarot cards constantly, am I on the right path? Am I on the right path? What should I be doing to stay on the right path? It was just like, I'm just going to enjoy myself. I'm just going to enjoy my life and like experience what's in front of me. And that looked like knitting on some projects and reading some books and thinking about what I want to make next and getting things organized and ordering some stuff so that I can make more things and shipping out orders and exercising and spending time with my family and doing all these things that like fill my cup ultimately. And then in the last 2 or 3 days, I recognized, oh wow, how nice is it that I'm distracted in a way by these things I enjoy doing. So therefore, I'm not stressing about what I should be doing with my life. Like things have been feeling good. I've been making some good money. I've been making more sales. Things have picked up. Like the summer month, August and September are always my worst sales months. And I think that it has a lot to do with back to school. Like everybody's done their summer vacations. People are spending money on back to school, kind of getting ready for the fall. We're in a freaking election year and everybody's freaking out about the economy. And we're just like in an interesting time right now. I think where we're like starting to see the dissolution of the powers that be. And like, I think that while as absolutely tragic as Hurricane Helene has been, it is a very prime example of the power of mutual aid and communities coming together and how that's going to be the saving grace of our like people. It's not going to be the government. And we're seeing just like a lot of chaos, you know, around. And so I've been thinking like, okay, you know, like I haven't been buying that much stuff. Like it makes sense that other people haven't been buying that much stuff, especially, you know, frivolous things like jewelry. But in the last, you know, few weeks, I've been seeing an uptick. Like people are buying things again and feeling a little bit more expansive and like, okay, cool. Like I really can have it all. I really can have like a satisfying life in all of the aspects. And then it's like, as soon as I have that thought and realization, like I spend this time like in gratitude about it. But then I noticed how it's like, well, maybe I should be thinking about what my business could be doing. Maybe I should be making a business plan. Maybe I should be thinking about how to grow this thing and get more Instagram followers. And like, I've always struggled with social media. I find that the social media plans and like marketing strategies stress me out because they feel very inauthentic. But then it's like, I take the advice of these social media marketers and my posts do improve. And then I fall back into this thing of like, fuck this is too much work. Like, I can't do it all. I can't be the artist and the maker and the marketeer and the bookkeeper. And, you know, it's like, I wear so many hats as a solo business person trying to do all of this, where it's like, I'm not going to be a household jewelry name if I keep doing this. And then I think about like what I really want. I don't want that. I don't want to be the, what is that one Texas brand that has gone crazy the last maybe 10 years, where it's just like a single gemstone on a chain. I don't even remember the name. No offense, I think their work is very boring, but it's like people eat it up. Kendra Scott. Sorry, no offense, Kendra Scott. I just am not your target audience. You know, like Kendra Scott is not making every piece of jewelry that comes out of her stores, and she's not doing every aspect of the marketing and the growth of her business. Like, she has a team, and she likely hires people in Asia to make her jewelry that comes back to the United States that she sells, which is fine. There's a lot of jewelers who do that. I just don't think I want to do it, because for me, what fuels this is the making of it. Like, I make this stuff. And so I think about how like my business strategy, my business plan is just not to be a household name. My business strategy, my plan is not to be the next Tiffany and Company. I don't want that. I make really sacred individual things that people spend their lives with. And like I said at the beginning of this video, if there's 100 people during the span of my entire career who fuck with what I do, that's great. You guys keep me going. I'm just noticing how like once I paid attention to the fact that I wasn't like overthinking every step that I take, I started to overthink every step that I'm taking. And it's really uncomfortable. Truthfully, I'm not really sure what to do to get back to just like going with the flow. I think that the creation style of how I did that last collection is a key, like is a clue for this, because not only did it challenge me to be really slow and intentional with my creative energy, there was like a way to, there was enough space between each piece that I could think about, okay, what I'm going to make next and how it correlates to the last thing that I made. And so the collection, in my opinion, was really cohesive. And if you want to see that video, it's the last one that I posted. I posted many Instagrams and TikToks about the collection as well, if you would like to see all the pieces. And so that was really fun. And it would take like maybe 2-3 hours out of my day to make these pieces and to put a video together and to practice using my voice and sharing my message. And not every video was good. I would dare to say all 15 of them were like solid mediocre, but it's the fact that I showed up and did it anyway, despite the insecurity, despite the discomfort. It was like, well, it's just one thing. And then I have the rest of my day to do something else. Like 3 hours out of my day is not that much time. So it gave me a lot of time to focus on the other areas of my life, which I think has been the missing key for my overall satisfaction over the last few years of trying to build a business and just be a human. Like, I just recognize that I'm not going to be the kind of person who's going to be very satisfied spending all my time working on monetary things. Like, I do really love money. Like, I love making money. I love having money. I see myself as someone who will have a lot of money at one point in my life, and that might be something that I end up building with my husband outside of Left-Handed Alchemy. Like, Left-Handed Alchemy is my passion project, whereas maybe where I end up making my bags is through whatever investments and things that Austin and I have going on that are not related to this brand at all. And who knows about this YouTube channel? Maybe one day I'll get sponsors and people will give a shit about what I have to say, and that will help me in my pursuit of just like really financial freedom in a way that's not like money bags, greedy McGee. It's more like money bags, I have land and a home that supports my family kind of money bags. It doesn't have to be like Jake Paul level crazy money mansion kind of vibes, you know? It can just be like supporting my family and like thriving and like having nice things that I get to take care of and investing in more tools. Like there's always more tools, and having things that don't fall apart, investing in high quality things, like having the capital to back that up and to back up the things that I value. And so, I don't know, I just started freaking out about it again. And I'm noticing the way that that's affecting my mental health and the way that I'm sitting and doing the things that I enjoy, because it's like I've been wanting to cast on a new sweater. I'm making a video about this new sweater actually that will be months out. I don't know, I'll release a video when I finish the sweater. It could take 6 months. But I'm having resistance towards even casting it on because I feel like I should be in here. I should be finishing my spooky collection. And the hinge point in me finishing my spooky collection was a mistake that I made. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at it's a great piece, but the way that I fabricated it is involving an hour of extra engraving that is going to make the price of each piece too expensive for what they are, and too expensive for what I feel comfortable charging, when I know that I could have taken 15 extra minutes to cut these other areas out with my saw. It would look better. It would be way easier for me to engrave. Like all of these things where it's like, okay, this was just a mistake. It's going to take me a couple hours to remake the pendant and redo the engraving. And then at the end of it, I'm going to have a collection that I'm actually like really excited about. And it's going to be really like, you know, at the end of the day, if I just have 5 samples of cool things that I've made and nobody buys them, I don't care. They're cool. I enjoyed making them, and they'll go in a box, and one day someone will find them and be like, damn, these are cool. And if that's like the minimum of what happens, I'm content with that. But what I've made, I'm not content with. So I have to remake it. And it's like, I'm finding like right now, my creative desire is not in doing that. My creative desire is in finishing some projects. Like I have a whole tray of things that I haven't finished. I've started, but I never finished. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do a video series about this. But because I started the spooky collection and I feel like I have to finish it, I'm not letting myself do this other stuff that is exciting to me. And I know I just have been needing to take a couple days off. When I am menstruating, I do not want to work. And I've built a life where I don't have to. And so I've been like sitting in the discomfort of, I'm deconstructing this hustle, grind, abusing myself for money mentality. It's been years in the making. And in a lot of ways, I've grown so much. We've seen so much growth in that area of my life. But I'm noticing now how sometimes growth and healing is circular and cyclical and like more like a spiral, because I'm revisiting this feeling of like, I physically and mentally can't make something that I feel proud of right now. Give it 2 days. I bet by Monday afternoon, I'm going to bang it out, and it's going to be no big deal. And it'll take a couple hours to remake the one and to make a whole new one, which is of an idea that came to me this morning. Cool. I'm still having creative ideas. I'm still having creative desires. It's just the physical and mental disconnect because of where my hormones are, and maybe because I just need to go on a walk, and because my allergies have been so fucking bad, I can't even comprehend what I've been reading. I'm like an avid reader. I love reading. I've been reading Hermione fan fiction the last few weeks, and it's everything I've ever wanted and loved about reading. Like, man, it is really, really satisfying for my inner child to read this Hermione fan fiction, and I love it. It's been so much fun. I've read about 2,000 pages of books in the last like 3 weeks, and I'm an avid reader. I can read all day, every day. But because of the way that my brain is currently wired with the allergies and hormones and whatever, I can't comprehend a word today. I had to just like move my bookmark back to where I was, or go back in my Kindle to like what chapter I can remember last, because it's like my brain feels like scrambled eggs. And so I'm expecting myself to be super productive when I feel like scrambled eggs. I don't think that's very fair. I just really don't think that's very fair of myself. And I don't know. I say this stuff publicly because I feel like there's somebody else out there who's also deconstructing work, or who's just like curious about like, what does it mean to deconstruct work? And sure, maybe I could be McMoney bags and I'd make more sales and I'd have more popularity if I really just like pushed through the discomfort and did the thing anyway. But that goes against my values and what I want from my brand and what I want from my creativity. And I think it would be different if I was just designing things and sending them overseas and I'd had no part in the fabrication. It was really just more my job to like market things and sell them. There's a little bit less of a personal investment into each piece that gets made. I really feel like what I do is magic. And as I hone my magic and I feel my magic and I get to feel like, okay, this is how it feels to be empowered in this. And this is what it feels like when I need to rest and just get to know my magic more. It's a part of myself I've been really nurturing over the last few years. And it's something that is taking trial and error. And I don't know, it's just like a part of myself that I'm learning about. And I believe it in my heart, but my mind hasn't gotten to the belief part yet, where I know what I create is magical. I feel it in my bones when the idea strikes and the flow of creating it is easy and it works out okay. I feel in my bones that what I'm making is magical. I don't know how it couldn't be. The way jewelry is so intimate and so symbolic of people in their lives and the things that they go through, and making symbolic jewelry and then also making like really ritual heavy pieces. It's going to require a certain audience who fucks with that. And it's also requiring me to manage my energy appropriately. I'm not reading tarot cards. Well, I am, but I'm not like sitting down and having one-on-one readings with people. But what I'm doing is channeling in a way, and it's requiring me to work muscles that are still being developed within my like being, these spiritual muscles. And I doubt myself a little bit because I've been indoctrinated into Christianity, what like even just through association, to believe that magic is real. I want to believe it's real so bad. Every book I read is about magic. I love fantasy books. And I feel like books and storytelling is so imperative to living life as a human, and how just intertwined storytelling is with us as people. And I have a whole video actually recorded on my phone that maybe I'll post after this one about just my love for storytelling, because it's so integral to being a human. We have one of the oldest things we've ever been doing as a species is telling stories. Verbal, like word of mouth stories that get passed down for generations. And then once the printing press becomes a thing, you have to have a lot of money to print, because it's like, you know, it's just a resource that's not readily available. There might have been a dozen printing presses in the entire world there for a few hundred years. And then mass printing, and how we can consume media so quickly now, and how there are more books now than there have ever been, and there's more being made every day, and the overwhelming reality that I cannot read them all. I can't read every story, but I find the ones that need to find me at the right time with the right messages for where I am, and how collectively stories are strengthened through collective consumption and collective interaction, and how I really believe that the gods and the goddesses exist in myth and through story, and how contemporary myths exist through the fiction that we read. Like, I believe that there will be a Hogwarts pantheon at some point, because the way people are interacting with these books, it's almost on the tier of like belief, and how the stories solidify our beliefs. And that's just kind of like where I'm at right now, is consuming more stories, and it's helping me to solidify what I believe, and working with different entities and beings. Like, I've been working with the Morrigan, and it's been transformative. She's pushing me to not be so freaking obsessed with my business all the time. But because I've not been super obsessed with my business 24/7, I've been actually like feeding the other parts of my life. I think things have been going better. And I get caught in black and white thinking that like, oh no, if I'm not obsessing over how to grow, I'm not going to grow. And if I'm not going to grow, I'm not going to be happy. And if I'm not happy, then I might as well just die. And I'm recognizing now, after 28 years of being alive, and after several, maybe 5 or 6 years of like truly deconstructing and healing and like doing real somatic healing from complex trauma, how black and white thinking is part of this like parasitic, this is about to be so cringy, you guys, but I gotta say it because it's like kind of what it feels like. It's like this parasitic matrix that sucks people's souls out of them, and it's so unconscious. But I'm recognizing that there's eras for everything. There's times when I'm just going to be a little tired. Go sleep more. There's times when I'm going to need more sunlight, and so I go on more walks. There's times when I need more rigorous physical activity, so I lift weights or I do more calisthenic based workouts, and I recognize how that's empowering to me. And so there's times for that, and there's times for creative abundance, and there's times to sit inside and knit, and there's times to read books all day, and all of it's kind of informing the next era, and it's cyclical. I recognize that maybe this time last year I was also in a knitting era, and then earlier this year I didn't pick up my needles for like 2 or 3 months. And it's like I get caught in this web where I think, oh no, I should quit doing jewelry because all I can think about is designing knitwear, and I should go to design knitwear instead of doing jewelry. And it's like this very black and white way of being that is not super productive for like long-term success and mastery of my craft like I desire. It's like through feeding all of the different parts of myself, I am also progressing towards mastery, because reading fantasy books has helped me like open my mind and my imagination, and it's helped me really consider like, what would it be like to consider myself as an alchemist whose alchemy and my final alchemical product is jewelry that helps you transmute your like own personal energy. That's pretty cool. And I don't think I would have been able to like really see what I do as that without fantasy books. Not even to mention some collections that I want to make. I'm making little swords, but like out of silver. And I'm going to give them names and a story. And so it's like, yeah, that's like something you'd find in a fantasy book, like a sword that has a name and a legacy. That's cool. And I get to do that. I get to make that. And I don't think I would have been able to see that without feeding these other parts of myself, and how important that is, and how we are so much more than just artists or mothers or wives or whatever. Like, we are those things, but we're a lot of things too. We get to hold a lot of different identities. And I love identity for how it helps solidify belief and solidify the stories, and the way that we like identify with the world is very story based. And our identities are so related to the stories that we tell about ourselves and who we are, but we get to rewrite those at any time. And we get to tell lots of different stories about ourselves. Like, we get to be a lot of different things. And so as we like progress as people and pursue mastery, we get to experience a lot of different things. And I think that that makes it more fun. We're not just one thing. And we can't wear our identity hats too tightly, too close to our heads, because sometimes we need to be a wife. Sometimes we need to be a mother. Sometimes we need to be an artist. And sometimes we need to take all the hats off and just like exist as incorporeal mist, so that we can kind of like get a different perspective for what maybe needs to be integrated differently, or what different kind of identities we get to wear. Like, I haven't worn the identity of painter in a while, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming soon, and I think it's going to come as Christmas gifts for people and cool little decor items. Like, I went to Michael's yesterday. I needed these for a photo shoot, but I have 10 of them now. So I'm going to paint these little skulls. That's going to be fun. That's like, who knows where that's going to lead. Even if it's just my own personal satisfaction and enjoyment and gifts that I get to give people that make me happy. Like, I love that. Boxes, whatever. Like, I haven't worn that identity in a long time, but I'm eager to put that hat back on. And I haven't worn the identity hat of being a girlfriend, like a good girlfriend, like a girl's girl in a long time. I think I got scared with friendships because I kept finding myself in the same situation. I haven't always been a good friend. But I might be finding myself in a situation where I have the opportunity to wear the hat of good friend. And I get to do things differently. And I'm surrounded by a group of girls now who like take the time to actually listen to what you have to say and like want to hang out with you, and in a way that's not like love bomby and weird. And one part of me is like, this is weird. But then the other part of me is like, this is nice. Maybe I get to be a little bit of a disembodied mist wraith right now. Maybe I get to be a little incorporeal in this pursuit of community and like not be too solid in what I think I know about what it means to be a good friend, and just kind of let the cards fall where they will and see how it goes and like practice being a good friend. And it's still very new in this process, but it's exciting. It gets exciting to get to take new shapes and take new forms. And this is where I feel like my relationship and connection to the Morrigan is like, I've been working with her for so long because she's a shapeshifter. Like, well, how is that not a nod to this being that I'm working with is like becoming comfortable with being a shapeshifter and taking new forms? It's cool. It's exciting. I don't want to just be one thing my whole life. I anticipate being a gardener and being a homemaker and being, I don't know, a badass mystic and probably 24 other things I can't even see right now because it's just not the timeline I'm on. But as life goes on, I get to be a lot of different things, and I think that's very exciting. And so thanks for listening, you guys. This was like a very one-sided therapy session, but I think I really needed to like get out of the house and get out of my own head because I was feeling guilty about, it's Saturday afternoon, I'm going to cast on my sweater. I told myself, oh no, I'm going to go into the studio and finish engraving. And maybe I will like tonight. Like there's, I don't know what time it is. I think it's like 3. There's time. I could go and engrave later tonight if I wanted. But also if I decide I don't want to like get back into my studio until Monday, that's okay. There's always time. I have enough to offer people if they're looking for Christmas gifts. I have a lot of ready to ship stuff. And so with that being said, I'm going to end this video and just say thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to me ramble. If you got something out of it, let me know. If anything resonated, let me know. You can follow me on Instagram. I have my link tree linked down below that has my Instagram and TikTok on there. I'm rebuilding my TikTok following after having about 4,000 followers. And then my account just kind of stopped doing anything. Like we went from like 200 to 600 views on everything I posted to like 20. And so I think I got reported. I don't know. I couldn't get any information out of TikTok. So I started a new TikTok and things have been going pretty good. And if you're interested in that, I post there a couple times a week, most days if I'm really like rocking on a project. I'll post final like compilation videos of all my projects on here. So if you just want to wait to see the whole project come to life at once, hey, great, you're in the right place. But if you want to see things as they're being made, I think I'm going to do another like piece a day thing soon. If I don't start next week, I'm going to start the week after. And so, yeah. I'm excited to do that. Excited to have some cool things to offer you guys for holiday, and like that's coming up, which is scary and gross, but Christmas and Hanukkah are coming up. And so I say this more as just like planting a seed. My customs are going to close early this year. All of the made to order stuff is going to close early this year. I think it's going to have to close the 1st of November. Unfortunately, that's in like 3 weeks. So 4 weeks. At least as I'm recording this. So yeah, thanks for being here. If you'd like to support this channel, subscribe and like and leave a comment, and you can find the link to my website as well on the link tree. I have a lot of ready to ship stuff and a lot of collection pieces like these. Just nice little silver pendants that, you know, tell the story of your life. And I'm working diligently to continue creating new collections. And I said I was going to have letters ready by Christmas, but I don't know if that's the case. Really, I really don't know if that's the case. But maybe I'll sell my collection, like maybe I'll sell my sample pieces for some of these things where I can just remake them. If I really want to have the full collection on hand, I can just remake them at the beginning of next year because I'll have a lot of time. You know, January comes around and it's not really true because I'm traveling a lot. But anyway, enough rambling for today. Thanks for being here. I'm going to go knit. I believe I'm going to go cast on the sweater that you'll see in a video coming up. And get back to things on Monday because I'm just going to slow down. Like when I feel myself winding up and needing to like rush, I think that in this case, the real thing that I need to do is slow down and take a step back. And so to me right now, taking a step back looks like slowing, like going and doing the thing that I feel guilty about doing because I'm not making jewelry. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that. Thanks for being here. Love you. Bye.